All right, let's see if we can pick up on any little things that might be causing your dog to refuse the tunnel. Okay, so here you weren't really in a position to, I'm assuming that you wanted to send the dog out to this jump. So this A-frame really puts you far behind. If you look, you're really far lateral too, given that the next thing you want your dog to do is here, right? So I think you should be converging on the dog a lot more. You could potentially even blind cross the end of the A-frame if you have a stopped contact. The other thing that you could do here is, instead of running up ahead, you could have kind of gone with the dog here and then gotten the dog going on the A-frame and rear crossed it, and then you could release them to the tunnel and then head this way. That's probably the most straightforward handling change that would have put you in a better chance to get that jump out there. Okay, I can't see what's going on here at all, but I do think that basically you thought your dog was committed and you started running hard in this direction, and your dog just couldn't handle that kind of pressure. So I think that is somewhat understandable, and it may just take some commitment work in practice where you basically, I mean, I would set up something similar to this, and you can come at it from different angles. So you could release your dog to the tunnel and you run the other direction, right? And then you could release from here and you run the other direction. And you could kind of move around the clock until you release from here and your dog does this and you just blow past, right? It's just a version of that pressure. I'm going to send you a couple of videos that I think are really good by Jessica Patterson, where she does this kind of thing, and you can start all the way with just retrieves. So they call it a reverse retrieve, where you're standing like side by side with your dog, you throw a toy out in front, you release your dog to the toy, and you run the opposite direction, and the dog has to go get the toy and then chase and come back. So it's a skill that you can build up, and you can do it in the flat, and then you can do it at obstacles. And I think that that's all you really need here on this tunnel. It was asking a lot of your dog, and he just showed that he needed more help there. Okay, nice. All right, nice finish. Let me pull up your comments here. Okay, so this is going to be the final tunnel. Beautiful. Yeah, you need to be a little careful with this front. It definitely looked like you were going to do tunnel to tunnel here. You're very lucky that your dog came with you. Good job, dog. Beautiful. Oh, you kind of slipped in there. Okay, and then here you're doing this. Let me see where you were going to go to next, because I'm not sure why you didn't just go with him a little bit more. Yeah. So to me, this makes no sense. I mean, sure, I guess you want to be able to send your dog, but you're basically giving your dog two conflicting cues: a complete stop, decel, and ascend to the tunnel, right? I guess in theory, like, yes, your dog should be able to do this, because what if the next thing out of this tunnel was something way over here, like where you need to get as much over here as you can? But in this particular situation, there is absolutely no reason why you wouldn't just take one more step towards there. You don't have to run all out, but you can just keep taking these steps towards this tunnel because there's no advantage to you being back here when you send the dog into the tunnel. And in fact, by the time he comes out and you pick him up, you've already moved up here. So why not do this moving up when it actually helped to support this tunnel, and then pick him up out of the tunnel here? So I guess I just don't feel like that send makes a lot of sense. That being said, if the course went in this direction, I could see that being something that you might need to do. But even then, I would give the dog as much support as I was able to do. And I think what that might mean in this case is, instead of stopping dead here and not moving forward at all, I would actually I would stay closer to the dog in here, because then what happens is, instead of getting ahead and slamming on the brakes, you're running with the dog, and the dog zooms ahead of you while you're running this way, gets this tunnel entrance, and you could end up stopping at the same spot. But you stop here when your dog is here, is like right here, instead of back here with you. So you could have just gone in deeper over here and then run with your dog a little bit more. They would have zoomed ahead of you and you'd be in the same spot that you were. But in this particular setup, there was also no reason not to go forward. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, next run. All right, and then here we have the next one. To me, this looks the same. I wonder. Oh no, I guess it's nested. Okay, yeah. All right, everything looks great so far. Okay, so here we just end up too far behind. Yeah. So here, I'm not sure why you waited so long here. Assuming that this is the correct way to go into the tunnel, you could just continue running this way. Your dog should be committed there. If you're worried that you're going to pull them off, I don't know, you're doing a lot of cranking here. I guess the dog was they actually had to come in to take the tunnel because they were kind of like arcing like that. But the opposite arm should pull them in. You shouldn't need to stop with it. And I think you could have easily, at this, as your dog goes into the tunnel, you probably could have blinded the tunnel entrance or come in front to be in a better position to support this tunnel. If you are going to rear cross this jump, you want to be much closer to the tunnel exit so you don't have very far to rear cross. So that as your dog heads in front of you here, you're here, and now you are driving towards that tunnel. But instead, because you're in kind of no man's land up here, then as your dog takes it, your motion is in this direction. So your dog follows that motion. So if your motion had been like that towards the tunnel, I think your dog would have moved towards the tunnel. Your motion was this way, so your dog mimics that motion. Now you're behind the dog trying to tell them to tunnel, and they're like, I see no tunnel out here. And that's where all of the spinning and stuff happens. So it happened because of this poorly set up rear cross. So I think we could have gotten rid of the rear cross altogether, or if you're going to do it, you want to be close to this tunnel exit as the dog comes out, let them come in front of you, cut behind, and immediately be supporting that tunnel. All right. Let me know if you have any questions.